Whitecliffs is in the far west of New South Wales, just over 1,000 kilometres from Sydney. It's a town where the locals live underground to escape the worst of the summer heat. By any measure, Whitecliffs is worth the drive to discover Australia's first commercial opal field. There are plenty of signs of the quirky nature of the town, where the people are friendly and the attractions are many. Among them, the Red Earth Opal Mine tour that you'll see here. Whitecliff's boom was in the 1890s, when the population jumped from 30 to 500 almost overnight. But today, only a handful of commercial miners are still operating. Tourism is now a draw card and step off the bitumen and you come to the Whitecliffs underground motel and a welcome from managers Alex and Sandra. Your room is always a cool 22 to 23 degrees day or night in a complex burrowed far into the earth.
I'm the manager here, but we just seem to be travelling around Australia, relief managing properties, just to get to see our beautiful country.
All right, so this is actually a job that you do?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, last 3 years ago we decided to pack up from home and start managing hotels and start seeing the country.
Big attraction of living in an underground hotel?
Oh, I think it's unique. I've never seen anything else like this before in my travels anyway. To go into a real mine and to sleep in it overnight, like living like Fred Flintstone, is quite unique.
There are 30 rooms in the underground motel. They built a few and then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. The motel complex is a labyrinth of rooms and corridors, and there's not a single window in sight. Did it start off as a mine, or did it start off as some sort of accommodation?
No, it actually, the heat gets up so high here in the summertime that they needed somewhere for relief from the heat, so they started making smaller rooms, and this one became bigger and bigger, and by letting it out a couple of rooms at a time, and then decided to see what you see today. It's 33 rooms we have usable at the moment, but we do have other rooms that haven't been renovated yet.
And do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy managing a property like this?
Yes, I do. It's certainly different, and the people that you meet fairly diverse, and unlike other hotels, you only get overnight people, so you only see them for 24 hours or 48 hours, and then you've got a new lot of people coming in, so
right.
Yeah.
So Sandra, it's obviously hard work.
I do the hard work, yes.
What's a typical day?
Waking up at 6:30, getting breakfast ready for all our guests, then cleaning all the rooms, getting ready for the night shift that comes in, our arrivals, and then starting the restaurant, finishing up, then starting all over again the next day.
I was working in there's no one here,
yeah,
and I was working in them toilets out there,
yeah,
and I could hear someone in the hallway, and guests must be still here. So in the peripheral vision I seen someone, but someone gone out there and had a look, and there was no one there. So yeah, but the housekeeper, she's always in here, so she's seen him quite a few times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any idea who it is?
No one died here that we know of or anything like that. So one of them's just died to hang around.
Wow.
He's a friendly ghost, he's not a...
No? So what sort of noise was he making?
No, doesn't make any noise, but you're feeling like going like that, brush up against you or something like that, and you think, no, that couldn't be wind, because it was too hard.
Among the features of the underground motel is the stairway to heaven, almost literally. The staircase leads from the underground chamber to a viewing area to watch Whitecliffs' magical sunsets. The colours seem to change by the minute in a fantastic display across the wide expanse to the horizon. It's almost as if the sunset is seeking to emulate the fiery colours of the opals, and doing it very successfully. And that brings us to the Red Earth Opal Mine and a tour hosted by owner GRAEME DOWTON that brings the whole Whitecliffs experience to life.
30 coded edges that can show you how difficult it can be to spot. So as I'm mining, I do aim to just bust the first few pieces, and then you're looking to pick up shapes out of the dirt thereafter. So here in Whitecliffs we're looking for pockets of opal that might start as a small dinner plate through to the size of your car. They can be larger than that if you're really, really super lucky. Later it calcifies, becomes what's known as a glendonite. That's happening all over the world. Here in Whitecliffs is singly the only place in the world where they're later replaced by opal. So it makes for a very rare and unique mineral specimen. With the drill, just as you put the holes down, all the dirt just comes up those augers, through the sieve at the back. I'm just looking for opal chips coming out the back of that machine. In finding an area that's producing, I can put a 3-foot diameter drill head onto that. Yep. I can put my shaft down to 30 feet in about 4 hours. And then I bring in the truck up there on the hill. It's what we call the blower, the one with the black pipes. Essentially, it's a giant vacuum cleaner. That machine will suck house bricks out of the ground all day long. Because they actually have such a big bucket on the machine, we can use this one as our length to give it a line. It makes it nice and quick. Blue ones are usually pretty good. So, you can see, you can see how shallow all them little tunnels just off to the sides. That's just all old workings. That will actually just give you a bit of an idea what you got your car parked on over there in the car park, what it was you were driving over when you come over here. It is honeycomb just literally beneath the surface. And you'll see actually I've got this little vertical seam. Just the last gouge of the jackhammer exposed this little vertical, so I've just snipped down that with the pliers just to make it a bit easier for people to see. So I have only just found that, so I don't know if that's actually just going to run out or if it's going to go another 6 foot or more through the ground. This particular bit of dirt has got a lot of opal in it. You know, I used to just fossick through that and just tip it down that hole, but now it's all filling up and too hard to reach, and so I don't bother doing that anymore. But I liken the place to a giant treasure chest, just mixed up with a bit of dirt. So you've just got to dig amongst it. There's still plenty to be found.
And plenty for fossickers as well, or just more for the professional miners?
Look, Whitecliffs is one of the, well, it is the single place where you can actually come and freely fossick all over the historic opal digging. So where it was first founded in 1889, back in the day, they could not sell their blues and low-grade green opal. They threw that away amongst the material that they lost under candlelight while they were working. So I have seen stones come into our little shop of $1,000 to $20,000 that visitors have actually picked up out there on the field. So in amongst a lot of fossils and other bits and pieces. So there is some gems to be found for everybody. It is an area that you can actually come and freely sieve dirt around some of the old mines. You can turn over the whole paddock and nobody can actually stop you if you're not on anybody's registered claim. It is here for the fossickers. Do
you think Whitecliffs has been overlooked to a certain extent in terms of being, well, it was probably the first opal area in Australia, but other places seem to get you know, more of a reputation?
Look, it's forgotten. It's which is wonderful. It's just one of those little untouched oysters then, you know, and where Lightning Ridge and Coober Pedy did have their large booms, their opal booms. Ours was back in the 1890s, so today it's a very small little population, dedicated people, very friendly and happy people. It's a really nice little fraternity of miners and hobby miners, pensioners, retirees that come and have a bit of a go. There's only a couple of us that are actual commercial operators, so it is still very personal.
So you're mining still?
Yes, very actively, yes.
And pulling a lot of good stuff out?
Sometimes.
A lottery.
Look, it's still a lot of hard work, you know. I just know that if you work it with the right equipment, then you'll find opal. It's not if you'll find opal, it's just when. All this stuff here, this is just all bits and pieces left over from previous miners that's worked in this particular shaft over the decades. So I don't know when it was actually first dug. But there is newspaper left from the 70s.
Oh, right, yeah.
I know there was people deeper in the 80s. Myself in the 90s, I come and filled all this in. And then today I've sort of opened it all back up again. Yeah. So you just recycle the old mines when you work in the old diggings. So this is actually what it is that I'm looking for. See that line there? See how he's running right up the side? See it running right across the ceiling?
Gosh.
And then right back down the other side. You all see that?
Yeah.
So that's a big fault line. It's what we call a slide. This is actually what gives me those sharp pointed crystals. That's why I picked up such a big area in here in the first place. Those other smaller, harder, you know, ugly looking ones actually found in hard ground, you know. So it's the bottom 6 inches. that's the piece of dirt that I'm looking at. So my ice was sitting there, and my crystals have grown in underneath there. I get traces of opal up here and down here. The magic and the money is just in that little strip of ground alone. That's virtually the only piece of wall that I'm looking at on this.
What attracted you to this in the first place? What's your background?
We actually first started here back in '73. Dad was a hobby miner, so we would come here my whole school life as hobby miners, and pretty much straight out of school I bought my block that I have here today, which we've built like a huge underground home, a lot of opal all through it. That's where the bug really bit me, and later we built the shop out the front, and now I just continue to dig all over the field. So, you know, it's been something that I've done all my life. I've lived here probably 27 years permanently. We could have gone on the extreme tour, which is, well, it's actually around the corner and up through the roof. I took my kids out there a couple of years ago. We went another couple of hours through the mines, and yes, we would just go through a little hole like that into the next mine, wiggle through into the next, the whole lot just kept linking up. A lot of places you might only have, you know, maybe this much space to sort of wiggle through. Other areas that sort of open up a little bit more. So, and up in there we found like tobacco tins, bottles, clothes, all the stuff that they just left behind 100 years ago. So, pretty cool. Far back as 1896. One had a monetary value of £150 marked up there on the ceiling as well. So, I think they call all of that carbon dating.
I like that.
This is actually what makes my life really easy down here, is this little diesel loader. So obviously on the front of it is a bucket that I use for getting the dirt out. So the whole ramp that we actually just walk down is actually dug for ventilation and access for this particular machine. So you can feel there's a bit of breeze moving through here. When I'm working, then I'll actually shut the plastic doors, turn on some big fans in the roof, and just turn this into a big wind tunnel anyway, just to keep the fumes down. The piece of dirt that I'm looking at is sort of right there where the tip of the teeth are, up to that piece up there. So that's where I'm likely to find me pineapple, is just in there somewhere. Just trim this off the bottom. So basically what I do is I just do a bit of an overcut over the top of my level. So I'm only digging in the silt, that's why it just looks a bit soft. You don't have to worry too much about it.
I'm wishing to find something, by the way.
Oh, me too, don't worry. I'm not here digging holes, I'm here looking for opal, you know, like this is a...
After a fascinating journey through the mine, the visitors emerge to the open air, blown away by what they've seen and experienced. On the surface, mullock heaps throughout the diggings are testament to more than a century of digging. White Cliffs, a must-see destination.